Hi everyone, welcome to community game number 13. So I'll introduce the players and we'll get straight in. So playing as Russia, we have myself. Playing as the UK, we have Gunslinger, or as he's known in the Discord, macmac. For the US, we have Tem7, or the communist black hole, as she's known in the Discord. Playing as Germany, we have TheRealKeet, and playing as Japan, we have CND. Okay, here we go. So this is Russia 1 against TheRealKeet and CND, community game number 13. So before we even begin this, I'm going to have to just do a bit of an explanation about the strategy we're going to go for here, which potentially could end the game extremely quickly and not in our favour. So before I started moving, my teammate Gunslinger, or macmac as he's known in the Discord, sent over a video of the TTG guy. He had a game against Battlescotch, who at the time was number 9 rank as allies on the rank ladder in Platinum, obviously. He went for a very aggressive opening as Russia, with the view to doing a KJF. So it's a very aggressive Russian opener, moving some tanks around, going light to West Russia. So it's going to be an 11-8 attack, not a 12-9. So it's very risky, and then using the spare tanks that won't be in the fight to move them around. And the UK is going to follow up with a big attack on 37, and yeah, we're just going to try and go for a very aggressive KJF. Now, in the actual game itself, I skipped the end. I've not watched the entire game, but I skipped the end. Battlescotch does win the game, so if it goes well, it could be a fun game, but obviously we're just risking things going badly in Ukraine, because 8 to Ukraine is scary, because it goes badly often anyway, with 9, so doing 8 is very risky. So this is a warning, this could be the shortest community game we've ever had, potentially, if this goes badly, but if it goes well, it should be a lot of fun. So I think we took a vote, and with the majority ruled, so yeah, we're going to give it a go. It's going to be very ultra aggressive, obviously, against Japan, but holding Russia is going to be the key problem, I think, for the Allies here. It's going to require a lot of support from the UK with fighters and things, and the US is going to have to be fairly quick mobilising and getting things into position. So yeah, it's going to be pretty tense, I think, initially, particularly if we get a bad opening. I think if we get a really bad opening as Russia, it's going to be over anyway. But if we get an average opening, it's still going to be fairly tight. Because I know Keet is a strong player, so he's going to be, any kind of weakness, he's going to be all over it. So yeah, it's going to have to be some good coordination for us. Anyway, we're going to go for it. So 8 infantry. Let's check my recordings actually on. So we'll do all of this fairly normal. So 11 and 8. This tank should all go well. It's going to be sitting in a Venki, so it's got options to tip Buryatia maybe, come down here, even hit back at Karelia. And then this tank from the Caucasus will go to Ukraine, and all this infantry, so this is going to be pretty much rock solid. And we'll move everything down that we can, stack Buryatia. So yeah, very, very aggressive. So yeah, looks like my teammate's spectating, so we'll see how we do. 11-8. We'll do West Russia first. Come on, boys. Oh crap, that's not good. Okay, this is a really bad start so far. God's sake. Oh, we've hit nothing. Nothing but air. This is already disastrous. Oh my god. There's one tank missing. To be fair, a tank being there wouldn't have changed that all that much. That was just terrible rolls from the infantry anyway, so that's not, that wasn't different to what was going to happen anyway. Here, big. That was good. That was very good. That's unlucky though. Oof, okay, better. Oh, crap. Okay, after some long discussions backstage, behind the scenes rather, yeah, I'm going to pull out from this fight. Now the danger with this strategy is we want to go for C-Zone 37 with the UK. The problem here obviously is quite obvious, that the bomber is still alive for the Germans, so they could go for Egypt, which I think they will do, because I know Keat's a good player. So losing that fighter means we can't go for 37, so it's going to mess up our game plan to an extent, but I think pushing on here is just a bit risky. We've already had a bad West Russia, which will fall, I think, regardless of what we do in Ukraine. So at least we can maintain some units here and keep ourselves probably more alive. So the risk here is going to be obviously that bomber taking out Egypt. I just gotta hope we get lucky with this, and we can maybe live and see another day. We'll see. But we're going to pull back. So yeah, a good Ukraine for us there. Just a shame we got absolutely destroyed in West Russia, because that's just unfortunate. As I said before, the tank being there wouldn't have made that much difference because we didn't get the rolls with the infantry. The infantry rolls were what let us down, so very unfortunate there. So we'll do this. So I've calculated because this is above 80% to hold. West Russia is doomed. there's no holding this, whatever we do. So I'm going to put an anti-air gun in there just to make it slightly more annoying to take. And hopefully if he goes for this with planes, not that he needs to necessarily. Actually, no, he may need to go with planes, actually. I think he does need to throw a plane there, maybe, just to take that comfortably. So if we get lucky, we maybe snag a German plane. But, yeah, not ideal. This could have done... This wanted a few more infantry in it, definitely. We've got very unlucky here. Unfortunate. But I think that looks good. We're going to leave one in Buryatia. If all goes to plan down here, I'll be stacking Buryatia next turn, and the UK, sorry, will push into Burma, and we'll just go maximum pressure against Japan. As it stands now, I think it's likely we can't do 37. I'm going to have to do something else, but we'll pressure in a different way. I think macmac is going to go for some tanks in India. Should this be ruled out if the fight dies? So we've got options. We shall see. But I think this looks good. We've got a tank and an infantry going to Sichuan. 3 here. Everything else looks good. 1 in Buryatia. Yeah. Okay. I think we're golden. And the fighters land here. Yeah, good. Okay, 4 and 4. Okay, welcome back to Community Game number 13. This is Russia round 2. So let's have a quick look back at the previous round. So we'll go for, just go to Germany first. Standard by from TheRealKeet, 2 artilleries, 11 infantry. Combat, he's lightly took Karelia, took out the destroyer, season 17. Transjordan went okay. Season 7. Okay, so won the fight with just a cruiser remaining. Oh, he didn't win the fight, he retreated with the last thing. Okay, fair enough. So I will try and kill this cruiser with my remaining... I'd love the sub to get a kill here, that'd be awesome. That'd be really cool. But yeah, West Russia. He strafed it, which is interesting. I thought he'd just take it, but he strafed it and actually didn't go well. He lost 3 infantry for my 1 infantry and 1 anti-air gun, so that was great for us. Because I was thinking, locking back in, we'd be, you know, West Russia would be controlled by the Germans, which would in turn mean that we couldn't obviously reinforce with any fighters. But as it stood now, it's great. We can reinforce them. We've actually got odds to hold this. We've been calculating the odds of the last, you know, the moves for Russia now for the last like 20 minutes or so, just to make sure we can hold all the vital areas. So we've got an attack plan for Ukraine and Karelia, and we've managed to maintain above 50% odds to hold West Russia, should they go for it with an all-out attack. But I'm surprised. I expected a bit more aggression from Germany, to be honest, because they could have stacked Karelia here. There was no reason why they couldn't have done, because we were obviously severely low in West Russia, plus the fact that we didn't have anything reinforcing from Archangel. So I'm surprised they didn't go for it, because they could have, you know, had a bigger attack on Germany too. But I'm not going to complain, because we've got a chance to hold this now and then secure it if we keep obviously reinforcing with fighters, which I hope we can do. So yeah, that's Germany 1, just moving things around. Let's look at UK 1 from Gunslinger or macmac. So purchases 3 fighters, full on aggression for India, and obviously going for Japan. This is the game plan. And the key move here was the season 37 battle, which I've covered. I'll probably actually show this now. Okay, here we go. 37, come on. Key fight. Take the carrier, sub, and 1 fighter. Good result though there. I think we hit 4, which is pretty cool. So that's most of the stuff dead. So we've got 3 attackers now against 1 battleship that's got 1 health. So it's looking good. There we go. So that's us successfully taking 37, which is really nice. We had 2 cruisers left over, which is fantastic, and a fighter, which is awesome. So Japan now is already severely low on aircraft. They've got 1 bomber and 3 fighters, I believe. That's all they've got. So that's pretty nice for us. So it's a good start. There was 2 big concerns here. It was obviously West Russia, which has gone okay, and also the fact that he didn't take Egypt. We were worried about we'd lose the fighter here, because normally when you have a bomber in Ukraine left over, the standard move is to go for an Egypt attack with 2 tanks, 2 infantry, and the bombardment. Not the bombardment, but the 2 tanks, 2 infantry, and a bomber. But he skipped Egypt, which was fantastic, which allowed us to go for our initial game plan, which was going to be to hit 37. So yeah, so far so good. We're a bit lighter than I would have liked in West Russia, obviously, but I think the bad strafe from, the unlucky strafe rather, from Germany means that we've slightly made up for that. The main thing is we're still controlling West Russia. That's the key thing. So yeah, good start for the UK, pretty much. Pushed everything into Burma, so we full on pressure. I wish actually what I'd done is I put my entire stack in Buryatia, because it would have meant that he had pressure here, and obviously plenty of pressure around here. There'd be a lot of targets for Japan, too many for just 2 transports. So yeah, we pushed everything into Burma. Got some transports these are free to move around now. We did have 2 cruisers here. We pulled back from Egypt, and we're just trying to basically make a blockade of Sudan while we get some more American troops in to reinforce this to try and hold the Germans off for the time being. So on to Japan. This is CND purchases: 1 infantry, 2 subs, and 1 destroyer, 1 transport. So he knows what's coming. Obviously, it's very, there's no subtlety in this in this kind of opening for the Allies. It's very clear what we're going for. So he's preemptively obviously gone for some naval units, which is the right choice, I think. So he's going to have. He's actually got 3 transports. Okay, he's got 3 transports up, and some subs. So yeah, preparing. But he's going to be very short, particularly after my move. I'm hoping, at least. I'm hoping he's going to be extremely short of ground troops by the end. So combat, he went for Burma. Annoyingly for us, this is quite annoying. So he took it, destroyed 6 infantry, 1 anti-air gun. Sorry, yeah, 1 anti-air gun and 1 fighter. Lost 6 units himself, so he did actually manage to take it, but a fairly costly price. That's a lot of infantry gone. And obviously we should be fine to hold India next round. We've got 3 fighters sitting here. We can always just blockade or pull some guys in with the transports or do something. There's options here. We don't have to be. We won't lose India, I'm pretty sure. There's things to do. So season 37 just destroyed. That was annoying though. Destroyed 2 cruisers. So we lost our naval units with the UK, which is kind of annoying. Because they're so useful in the turn orders attacking Japan. The US can go somewhere, and then the UK then can reinforce and blockade a certain sea zone. They're very useful to have. So we've lost that ability, but we may be able to build more fleet later on. We'll see. So Anway took it, lost 1 infantry. So only 3 here. This is going to be my target for the Russians this round. We'll try and kill all these because there's no bordering land units here. So if we kill this, then there's no counter-attack from the Japanese, and it gives us the troops here free reign to sort of cause some havoc in the Asian territories, which is our intention really, just to cut off as much income from Japan as quickly as we can, and also kill the ground units. So there's obviously no pressure against Russia. Buryatia took it, lost 1 infantry for it, which is nice, and this was great for us. Ended in a draw. They lost 2, we lost 2, but we kept the territory, which is awesome. So that's more income for the US next time. And yeah, that was Japan's move, just mobilising. So he's possibly thinking about India for round 2, but I think probably after this move, if it's successful, he's going to be more thinking about just consolidating around Asia and just getting some of these territories back, because it's going to be a mess in here. You want to get land units into this area as quickly as possible because there's some high value stuff here. Kwantong's no joke, there's 2, Shanghai's 2, Manchuria's 3, so you're going to be protecting that, definitely. So yeah, that's Japan 1, onto the US. 1 carrier, 2 destroyers, 2 subs, goodbye. Given the fact that obviously Japan's preparing for a KJF, I think it's the right choice to match that, so we want to be obviously trying to overwhelm them with power as quickly as possible. Down to 44, to the Solemn Lines, preparing obviously for the push against the Money Islands, which could be good. I've not done the fleet calculations just yet. I'm not sure what the numbers are, but yeah, with this obviously aggressive push we're making against the Japan's land territories, I think obviously we'll be overpowering them with the fleet sooner rather than later. It's quite an aggressive build, this from the ally. So yeah, moving down. Supported the landing in Africa, so we're going to be just again making a big defence of Sudan, hopefully, to hold these German forces back, and just pressuring generally. So on to me, round 2. Here we go. It's going to be mainly infantry from here on out. We need the numbers. Numbers are going to be the priority, just to kind of slow this down as much as possible. So we'll go for 7 infantry, 1 artillery. I'm going to lose. I'm not sure what I'm going for yet. I know the numbers I'm going to be attacking with. I'm not sure what I'm going to be attacking with in terms of artillery and infantry, but we'll go for 7 and 1. Save 1 IPC for later. Okay, so we're going to be going blitz into Kwantong. I wanted to take Shanghai, but actually it makes much more sense to go into Anhui here, because there is nothing bordering. We can cause more problems by doing this, I think. There's also, I think it was about a 77% chance of taking Berry-Asia, which is tempting to it pretty much leaves just 2 units on the mainland for Japan, but it's an easy counter-attack for Japan with the transport here. They can quickly just pick up, and they've got these guys can move back as well to push this, and then we leave our sort of a back door to Russia open. So I'm going to be leaving 3 units here, pushing on this way and just not attacking this. So the key trades here, we're going to be trying to take the cruiser out in 6. That'll be a nice bonus if we can get it, because having this dead will mean we can possibly drop a UK fleet later on, possibly. I'm not sure exactly what our intentions are with the fleet at this point. It's just been mainly fighters for now, I think, reinforcing West Russia, but we're going to go 1, 2, 3 into Ukraine, because this needs to fall. We're going heavy here. We've calculated that we can go 3 units here, 2 units to Karelia. I kind of want to go 2 infantry to Karelia, if I'm being honest. We need to put an artillery in here, because this has to fall, because this, having tanks blitzing through to Caucasus, plus supported by some transport landings, is going to be pretty bad for us. That can't happen. So yeah, we'll hopefully take this no problem. This is a bit, I don't like doing this because I want an artillery there, if I'm being honest, but again, that only leaves us with 1 more to trade next time, so maybe not do that. I'll take the risk of just doing 2 here and hope the plane hits. I've not got good luck with attacking planes, as you know, but we'll take the risk. I'd rather conserve the small amount of artillery we've got. So with that, I think that's what we're going to do. So blitz through here, yeah. This is good, this is good. I think, do you know what? I'm going to make sure. Well, not make sure, that's saying the wrong thing, but I want to just give it its best chance as it can to take this, because we're not going to get another chance at Karelia. He will stack it for round 2, so this is the last chance to just snag Karelia while we can, so let's do it. Ukraine first, 'cause it's the most crucial fight. Okay, got a hit at least. That's terrible though. Don't hit back. Oh, thank God. Thank God. That was scary as hell. That was so scary. Jesus. If that had failed, it would have been just disastrous. Okay, cool. We've got Karelia. Fantastic. Damn. Let's do the cruiser battle in 6. Let's see if we can snag a cruiser. Come on, sub. Come on. Nice, nice. Look at it go. Legend. Sorry, my table's like creaking a lot, so I'm gonna move around. Okay, there we go. Right, so final battle for us. Anway. Let's see if we can get lucky here as well. I'd love some infantry left over after this. Okay, not too bad. Get a hit here. Okay, the tank's pulling us through right now. Wow, that tank did some... Bloody hell, they hit every single time as well. That's unfortunate, I think, for us there, but we took the territory, which is the main thing, at least. It could have definitely been worse, I'm not going to complain. Okay, so we're going to pull everything in. I'm going to pull one guy back from Yakut. So this is now very undesirable, given the fact they've got all these issues around here. Everything back here. I've got to also make sure of my defense profile here, because we're obviously on the last stand type of percentages for West Russia. Let's see this one. Anti-air gun goes first, then bomber. Yeah, this is the must-hold defense profile, so that's good. I'm assuming this is also... There's no fleet around here to hit, actually, that doesn't matter. I'm just thinking if the sub's on retreat or not, but there's no navy nearby to hit it anyway, so that's not a problem. Okay, everything back here looks good. That's good. Don't think I've missed much. So I'm going to be deploying to the Caucasus, I think. So we're deployed to the Caucasus. 29 for us, which is quite nice. That's a good bit of cash to spend. Yeah, there is obviously a slight threat against the Caucasus here. I don't think it's a realistic threat because they can go 1-2 with this fighter. They can hit with the bomber and also bombardment and some troops, but 5 land units against some high value units, I don't think that's really worth it for the Axis. So I would assume this won't fall, and we can push everything back into West Russia for next round, or this round. Okay, we're back for Russia 3 in this community game number 13. So I'll have a quick look back at round 2. Germany, this is TheRealKeet. Purchased 10 infantry, 3 artilleries, combat. He knocked out our last remaining UK unit in the Pacific, or fleet-wise at least. That poor transport was massacred by the bomber from Transjordan. Took Persia, took Egypt, took Ukraine, no losses, and took Karelia, no losses. So he's got the Karelia stack off as we knew he would, obviously. Yeah, just moving forward. What was nice actually for us here, he left France and Northwestern open. There was no fighter in range. Should we take these two? Because obviously this one here can go 1, 2, 3, but nowhere to land, same as these 5 here. And the bombers also being positioned here gave us a chance. It's also just one space out of range of these this sea zone. So we grabbed this what we could, which is quite nice. A bit of a bonus income for the Allies. And then just a general push, I think, from Germany towards Karelia. So, round 2, UK, Gunslinger, or macmac. 3 infantry, 2 fighters. 2 fighters deployed into the UK, 3 into India. We're just trying to get some numbers up in India here. We've been talking a lot behind the scenes, all 3 of us, which is what I'm really enjoying, actually. This game has been super fun so far. I think win or lose, it's been really enjoyable. I like the deep discussions behind the scenes of the Allies. Very specific, discussions about moves, purchases. It becomes, that's when the strategy of this game, playing with other people, becomes really fun, because you're all sort of bouncing ideas of each other, and that's what the community games are. That's when I enjoy them the most, when you've got like a real, good discussion going on about strategies. That's a lot of fun. It's what I imagine the board game being like for people when they were playing that. Getting 5 people or 4 people or whatever around to play a board game and having these kind of team discussions. It's good fun. So we've got we're just getting some guys on the ground in India, I think, just to keep the pressure on all the Japanese land units, and 2 fighters here just to fly into West Russia. So we need to keep the fighter reinforcements up for West Russia, because obviously Germany's going to be pumping out at least 7 or 8 units towards Karelia each round. So we're going to have to match that, and I can't do that alone with Russia. So we're going to be relying on the UK to hold, and partially the US to hold West Russia as long as we can. But combat for UK round 2 took France. It was open. Persia. This was really nice. We actually had a really good round 2 as the UK. We took Persia back with 1 infantry from the Caucasus. No, didn't lose it, which is fantastic. So that would have been annoying because it would have enabled the Germans to blitz in here with possibly some kind of idea of doing that, but I don't think it would have been realistic. But still, it limits the Germans what they can do. Again, Egypt took the territory, no losses, which was good. These three pushed in, and Burma also. It was a pure air attack, I believe, on Burma. Yeah, 1 bomber, 2 fighters. The plan was to take the bomber as a casualty should we take any hits, but we were just trying to absolutely limit, Japan's ground presence on the mainland. So that was a really nice bonus for us there, not having to lose the fighter. Sorry, the bomber. So Japan's looking extremely thin. He's got 5 units here, and actually his purchase, we'll go on to that now, as a CND. Round 2 was 5 infantry and 2 artillery, so heavy land by, despite the KJF incoming. So I think we probably, on balance, I like this purchase for Japan from an allied perspective, because it means we're not obviously, he's not spending on fleet. So we're hoping that obviously we can overwhelm the fleet sooner rather than later. But it does mean he's going to have some units to deploy to the mainland for now, so we'll have to contest that obviously. I'll be hitting Kwantung this round as the Russians. But yeah, 1 fighter by, 2 artillery, 5 infantry, combat. Took Soviet Far East, pushed up Kwantung, undefended. Took out the transport, and Yunnan destroyed 1 infantry, no losses. So gained back a bit of ground, but still they're still looking extremely thin. I think I'll probably take Buryatia with 1 infantry, maybe leave 1 in Yakut, and push back with 1 infantry into Venki, possibly. That's what I'm thinking right now, anyway. And yeah, I think that's probably about all we can say for the Japanese move. Onto the US. This is TEM-7. Purchases 3 destroyers, 1 transport, 2 infantry, 1 artillery. So we were thinking about getting sort of a mini shook going with the 2 transports left in the Atlantic. So actually, it's quite nice. We can reinforce Africa, at least for the time being, safely. Although I suppose we could use the UK troops to defend. I'm thinking about this bomber. Once this bomber's back in position, it's going to be threatening these 2 sea zones, more likely, from where it's going to be sitting somewhere. Berlin can reach, I guess. I think go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Should Morocco remain German? 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Actually, the bomber's quite limited, depending if we can take Morocco. Actually, yeah, we could cut this bomber out of the equation. Because 23 might be actually quite safe. And we can defend if we need to with these 3 ships. We've still got 3 defensive ships alive in the Atlantic, which is quite nice. So we could, yeah, get a mini shook going with the US, like 1 infantry or 2 infantry per round, back and forth to Africa, just to reinforce, to sort of match the German push here. Which is quite good as well for us, I think, because it's obviously taking some pressure. Him pressuring Africa is taking pressure off Russia, which is a good thing, because I think a full-on aggression towards West Russia would have us collapsing fairly quickly, because we didn't have the best opening as Russia. The West Russia attack was fairly weak, so having some units distracted down here is probably a good thing. And I don't see us really struggling to hold this, if I'm honest. I think we should be fine with what's coming through. But anyway, yeah, so mainly a military buy here, 3 destroyers. I like the move here. He's blocked off 48 with the destroyer, because as it stands now, we can't. This initial first fleet didn't have enough to defend against what was nearby in 61, 35 to sit in 48 or 47. So we've done a blocker in 48 just to allow our secondary purchase to catch up, and we're hoping to possibly take Borneo or this coming round. If the fleet goes all in for 48, all of their fleet, we can then wipe it out with our combined forces here. If they take it lightly, we do have the ships available to do 2 blockers in 36 and 48, allowing us to then safely capture Borneo without the fear of recapture. And then from there, we can probably start spiraling and attacking more things like East Indies could fall. We can get a complex, hopefully set up in Borneo, but as long as we keep the reinforcements coming. So yeah, combat. Nothing much to say, just apart from we just took Northwestern to eliminate the planes landing zones, so nice bit of bonus income here. And yeah, that's about it really. So round 3, on to me. So we've got 30 to spend, which is lovely. as a round 3 for Russia. You don't obviously normally have that much to spend. I'm going to go for 10 infantry here, purely because I don't think we're going to be attacking a whole lot. I'm going to be going for Ukraine, but that's about it. We'll be using 2 infantry and just our planes to attack this. So I just want to get numbers basically. We'll go for 10 infantry for this round. Mixing in the odd artillery when it makes sense, I think, but we've got 2 spare here for now, so that's enough. Just looking for numbers. So I will take Beryasha. We did have some discussions about what I could attack at. I was thinking as well of possibly hitting Kiangsi or Shanghai, because they have now 3 planes on their own here, and there's a decent chance we kill one of them, which would obviously help out TEM-7 in the Pacific War. But it makes more sense, we thought, to hit Kwantung, eliminate another ground unit. It just makes it really difficult for Japan to get going here. They're struggling. Obviously, we're full on pressure with the US, so they don't really have a lot of time to get things under control with the land units if we keep being as aggressive as we have been. So oops, that's wrong. So we'll do just 2 to Ukraine. Again, I don't necessarily have to kill. Oh, sorry, I don't have to actually take the territory, but I just want to kill the units actually bordering. We're not going to be going for anything else because I don't think we could afford to. This infantry will come back to block the blitz from the German tanks. We'll get this sub moving down as well. Apart from that, I think we look good. Yeah, I think we're all set. Okay, Kwantung first. Okay, good. That's good. Lost the infantry, but that's fine. Okay, Ukraine. Fingers crossed we take this. It'd be a nice bonus if we do. Okay, that's a bad start. Okay, cool. That's lucky. That is fortunate. So I think I will deploy into the Caucasus. Let's get you moving down. Move you across. Everything into West Russia. Just double checking that's all good. Yeah, I think we're set. So down to 27. I don't think we'll probably get back to 30 in this game. I think it's unlikely we do, but it's been nice while we had 30 to spend. We've got a nice 10 infantry deployment this round, which is good. So that should help us with holding west for next round. But there we go. That's my round 3. I'll see you back for round 4. Okay, round 4. This will be the only round in the game where I'm doing post commentary because I wasn't recording my mic when I was recording this particular round. So round 3 for Germany, 11 infantry, 2 tanks, ramping up the tank production. Some nice battles here for the Allies. We held the Caucasus, despite the Germans attacking, and we held Egypt too. The Germans lost 4 units versus our 3, which is pretty nice for us. Yeah, won the rest of the things, but we managed to actually kill quite a few infantry here and there. I think we captured France, so actually good. That was a great round of training for the Allies there, not bad. So for macmac, UK, 2 infantry, 3 fighters. Hit a few things: Burma, Libya, Morocco. 16 destroyed the battleship finally, which is nice. So no more landings in Africa for the rest of the game, which is good. Cost us a bomber, but I think that's more than worth it. And just some reinforcements to West Russia. CND, Japan, round 3. 6 infantry, 1 fighter, 1 sub. So again, pretty heavy on the land buys, despite the fact that obviously the US are pressuring in. A few bits and bobs here and there. Destroyed the destroyer in 48. Yeah, actually held on to Sichuan, which is nice. They attacked, lost 1 infantry. We just hit back against the infantry and didn't take any losses in Sichuan, which was quite nice for us. Any land victory against the Japanese is great because they don't have that much to spare. So it's always good. From TEM-7, US round 3, 1 artillery. I missed that actually, what we actually bought there, but fair enough. But the big news here for the US in this round was the taking Borneo, and obviously we've blocked the sea zones, so he can't reinforce, or he can't take back Borneo. So Borneo is now ours permanently, and obviously the East Indies. The idea is going to be the East Indies will fall next round as well. So very nice. We've got obviously more fleet moving in, more transports moving in, so we can pick off more things. So yeah, it's looking really nice. But round 4 taking Borneo is great. So yeah, can't complain there. 7 infantry, 1 artillery for myself. What do I go for here? I'm pretty sure I go for Ukraine. Okay, I'm taking Karelia. Yeah, I do. I think there was a long discussion about this, actually, what to bring, because we could have gone heavier here. The odds were we were holding West Russia. I think I decided to go as light as possible, so I think we still had like a 70% chance or something to take Ukraine. Obviously, we weren't wanting to use fighters in the Ukraine fight because of the anti-air gun. If we could have used fighters, it would have made it a lot easier, but I think because of that we had to obviously commit a few more ground troops than I would have liked. But yeah, so I decided to go 6 to Ukraine, which would be against 4 land units, and then the anti-air gun obviously taking a hit second to last most likely. So yeah, this was a bit of a risk from me because I went light, and as you can see, bad first round for us there. 4 versus 4 now. 2 hits pretty good, but 3 hits even better. And now it's a 2v1. I probably should have pulled out here, actually. Yeah, so that didn't go particularly well. I take the blame for that one. I did go light. But this is also, that's a rough first, well, a rough 2 rounds, Jesus. So 2 rounds of planes hitting. I think people can start seeing why I don't like attacking fighters. They're just, so unreliable. A 3 roll it's no guarantee. No guarantee at all. It seems to be, at least recently, it seems to be failing more often than not. But so not a good round of trading for the Russians there. We didn't take any territory, unfortunately, but there we go. Okay, back for Russia 5, community game number 13. So, the usual routine. Let's have a look back at round 4. TheRealKeet, 10 infantry, 2 tanks. Amping up the pressure for Moscow. Combat just took the Caucasus. We left them defenders, walked in. Fair enough, and he just repositioned. Obviously, he was going for the Caucasus, so we'll be defending the Caucasus for this round. Then he'll obviously move to West Russia, kick us out of the Caucasus, and then we'll, be forced back to Moscow once he starts stacking. Once he stacks Caucasus. So yeah, we've held off as long as we could, but obviously we can't avoid leaving West Russia. I mean, we can't actually stay in West Russia. Which is, German positioning here means it's impossible. So we will have to concede the Caucasus. However, the progress I think in the Pacific is more than worth the trouble we're having with Germany. So yeah, I'm not too concerned. So the UK, Gunslinger or macmac, round 4, 3 infantry, 2 fighters, fairly normal. Finished off taking the last German territory in Africa now, which is nice. Yunnan just walked in, same as Thailand. Caucasus, unfortunately, we were just, for deployment reasons, we were, the British cleared out the German infantry that was in Caucasus. We were hoping not to lose a plane for that, but we did unfortunately lose a fight for 1 infantry, so that was quite a very costly trade for us, but it does mean we can, safely guarantee that we have the Caucasus under control by the time it gets to Russia's turn, and then we can obviously deploy into there. Because if we didn't kill that infantry, it would have been, I think, a US tank and a fighter versus the infantry. So if we lose that, then again it's gonna cost the fighter anyway. So at least we've got the control of the Caucasus for this round, and we can deploy directly into there for 1 more round, which is good. Nothing much else to say. Just pushed slightly forward here, so we're going to take Malaya hopefully next round. We've moved all the fighters down to India just for this round, so we can do maybe some pressure against Yunnan again. We don't need any of the fighters nearby in Russia for a round or so, while we obviously negotiate all this shifting around territories. Once we get put back into Moscow, that's obviously when we'll need all the fighters back, but for now we're just, they're free to move around for the time being. Nothing much to say about non-com. Fairly normal, just moving everything forward. Let's move 3 to Persia as well, which just gives us a few options here. Maybe we can not go to threaten the Caucasus obviously, but we can possibly push on over here to Kazakh maybe, come back around. We're having to fly our fighters through Iceland now as well, because obviously we can't land directly into West Russia, so there's a slightly longer route, but we can still keep up the chain of reinforcements as long as we just keep deploying to Iceland. Don't think we'll get an opportunity to take Norway or Finland. He's keeping his fighters locked down in northwestern Europe, which I think is, I see the reasoning. It's obviously protecting his entire west coast. However, all these 6 fighters are out of range of the Caucasus, which I think has given us better odds. Obviously it has, but I'm not sure if he could have possibly given himself odds on the Caucasus should he have left his fighters a bit closer to the front line. I'm not sure. I've not worked out the odds if he had those in range, so not a problem. But anyway, so various movements there. On to Japan, round 4. CND. So I was quite surprised, I'll be honest, with the purchase here for Japan. He's gone for 5 infantry, 1 fighter, 1 destroyer, so still maintaining the land purchases. I think for most of this game, except for pretty much round 1. Yeah, it's been pretty heavy land purchases. Given the situation in the Pacific, I was surprised. I think I would have been expecting maybe some more fleet purchases to keep up, obviously, the power balance between the US fleet and the Japanese. So as it stands now, I think with the US is in a pretty commanding position in the Pacific. We've taken all the money islands now, which is fantastic. And I've not done the odds, but I'm assuming TEM7 has done the odds. We can probably hold this as well, so it's going to mean probably a retreat from 62. I'm not sure exactly the odds on attack here, but yeah, fingers crossed we can push them completely out. This is the key thing though. If we look at the economies now as well, for the US it's 50 and Japan's down to 24 with no obvious way of getting anything back really. There's no real progress to be made anywhere. I'm going to block up these 2. I mean, he can't take those for free. He can take Xinjiang, but apart from that there's not a lot of options, to be fair. So Japan's becoming very, very strangled, which is great. So I'll just quickly go over TEM7 through as well. So 2 destroyers, 1 bomber, 1 complex. So we dropped a complex into Borneo, obviously just to keep up the front line production, which is good. So we can pump out ships or whatever we need from here, bombers, fighters. We'll probably at some point, once we've dealt with the Japanese fleet, and so we're definitely safe here, we can obviously think about getting some kind of some small shock to the mainland to reinforce, Russia, and help out with defence over here while we, flood the rest of it. We've not thought that far ahead, but we've got to see what happens with the Japanese fleet first of all. But yeah, we're aiming for 2 complexes here, obviously, and we can play it from there, however we feel we want to. Obviously, get maybe some fighter reinforcements from Russia as well to stall out Germany while we finish off Japan. But no, looking very nice. We took East Indies over this round. Got a bit tense in the East Indies fight because we lost 1 infantry, and on the second round the bomber actually missed, but didn't matter in the end. We still took it. So yeah, that's the key thing. It would have been crap. I think I probably would have sacked the bomber in that event just to try and should we have won the battle, but had a hit to take against something. I think I would have sacked the bomber personally, because that Japan's never getting this back, so I think it would have paid for itself immediately, pretty much. But anyway, on to me, round 5. So purchases. I've not really looked at myself in terms of what purchases I want to make. I think it's pretty simple. We've not got a lot to do this round. I think numbers. So 5 and 2 looks good. We are short of artillery, so maybe a few more artillery. Oh, that's good. So we're not actually attacking anywhere this round. We could do something against Belarusia potentially, but it's not necessary really. We don't need to. I think it's just all about preserving numbers here, to be fair. We'll block up Vologda and Novo to ensure this guy can't just walk in anywhere. And the rest will go back. Oh, my sub. Yeah, keep going. The rest will go to the Caucasus. So safe, safe. Yeah, that's good. I love the fact I've still got a sub alive as the Russians. That's a nice treat. It so rarely happens. So it's nice to have some kind of naval presence that can actually help out in the Pacific. That's good. Okay, that should do it for me, I think. So we'll deploy, 2 here maybe to this. Yeah, that's good. Okay. So currently, I should have probably checked at the end of the the US round, but it's currently 188 attack power versus 177, so fairly healthy. I think this is going to get better for us as well as we push more in the Pacific. So 50. Obviously, as it stands now, the economies are looking fantastic because, yeah, Japan's completely cut off pretty much at the moment, 24. Almost got as much as Russia, which is interesting. But the UK is definitely outpacing Japan, and the Americans have obviously got a big lead over Germany as it stands now, so no, it's going well. Okay, back for Russia 6. So a little bit to talk about this round because we've had an idea. So I'll just get back to the summary for round 5 and go through the game plan. So Germany round 5. TheRealKeet, 1 infantry, 6 tanks, 1 artillery. He's ramping up the tank production now. He's obviously going for that Moscow 8 timing, which I think is likely. He's just going full on pressure now, which makes sense because we've not got really any threats over this side. He's keeping the fighters here to deter any major landings. Combat, Archangel, just took the territory, no problems. West Russia walked in, pretty much. So fair enough, yeah, he's just prepping us. So I'm not sure if I'm obviously going to pull out of the Caucasus this round. So I'm not sure if he's going to stack the Caucasus. I've not done the math to work out if we can dead zone this. He's got what? 18, 29, 31, plus maybe a bit of help from the Japanese, 32. So I'm going to have, what, 25, 28, 31. Don't know, it's risky. I'm going to be buying 6 infantry here, so we don't got the best attacking power. I don't think it's going to be, it'll be tight if anything. I think it's probably in his favour. But that's not the plan anyway. We'll let him take this if he wants to. That's we're obviously expecting him to go there. But yeah, anyway, that's Germany 5. On to UK 5, macmac. 3 infantry, 3 fighters, keeping up obviously the production for, well, it was West Russia, but just reinforcements for Russia, so we're keeping a nice fighter chain going into Moscow. Combat, Malaya, just grabbing a bit more territory from the Japanese. Took the territory in Yunnan, but obviously since then he's taken it back. Japan's taken it back. Yeah, just generally moving forward. And obviously mobilised infantry in here, and yeah, so we've got a good number of fighters for the UK now. We've got, what's this, 9, 14 fighters total, which is nice. They'll all be converging on Moscow, you know, over the next few rounds. Because India's, at the moment, obviously more than safe. The US guarantees India's safety, so these fighters will be moving into Moscow next round. Or this current round, round 6. So Japan, CND, purchased 1 destroyer, 1 carrier. Well, I think I will say I've been slightly surprised by Japan's purchases throughout the game. I think it's been fairly infantry heavy. I mean, it has helped them keep their land territories, but I think it's meant that they're falling behind in fleet quicker than they probably should. Because obviously the US is all over the Money Islands this round. We're going to be dropping some complexes, or I think he just did. We just talked about it now. So this round he dropped some complexes. So we're now up to full Pacific production for the US. Just yeah, mobilising everywhere we can. And the economy's looking fantastic too. He's got 50 compared to 23 now, which is, you know, more than double. So it's looking good. So yeah, progress here. Just quickly on the let's finish up Japan's moves. Xinjiang walked in, just obviously took back Yunnan and Novo. Okay, which you've since traded back. Okay, Tem7, round 5. 2 fighters, 2 complexes. So yeah, as I said, max production now. 2 fighters here. Now here's where the game plan comes in. Basically, we've been thinking about, it was macmac's idea originally. He was just looking at the board and suggested to us going for a VC snipe, because there is actually some opportunity here. Now, the VC snipe we're going for will be this round, and it entirely depends on Keat's defensive. if he spots it, that's all it's going to matter. Because currently we've got a transport in 34, which can take Italy. We can take France. The US can take Shanghai, which would give us the 10. The only sort of iffy parts here are obviously Italy these all can be defended very easily. We've also got an option to take Karelia, possibly. It doesn't look like that, but we can clear this out with a few using the turn order here, we can take advantage of that and actually get into Karelia. So, for example, this is also a concern here. They might stop this, but just to ignore this for a second. The UK can clear out, hopefully, these two zones for... I'm going to attack Archangel, but the UK, assuming Germany takes back and has, control of these two. The UK with these planes in Iceland can go 1, 2, 3, 4, clear out whatever's here with this tank as well. And then it frees up assuming that we don't get blocked by the Japanese, this US tank, and the two fighters from Moscow can hopefully clear out this as well. Ideally, it's going to be a bit tight. That is risky, but it's a possibility. And then obviously that frees up potentially the US just blitzing through and taking Karelia. So that's one option. The easier way to do it would be just to take France, because Keat's not defending France. If I was the Axis players, I would not see this coming. There's no way I would see this. I'll be totally honest. This may give it away. I would probably check this to see what was going on. So that might give it away. But in terms of just generally speaking, I wouldn't ever think Karelia was going to be taken. That just doesn't seem to be likely. I probably would have defended France or something here. I see what he's doing with this. He's obviously giving himself options to, reinforce on the Russian front, but also dead zone a lot of sea zones for us. But I probably would have put something into France. Now, the key thing here for us, if Keat doesn't defend Italy and France, we have the game. Pretty sure. Because the Japanese, even if they stack 61, we'll have odds to take it with our fleet. And from there, obviously, we can drop in. Actually, less. Oh no, yeah, it is two. It is two. So we're gonna have 4 ground units to go for Shanghai, and these infantry are not going to go backwards. I think it's very unlikely that they do that. What would be tricky here? I think it's very unlikely that. Yeah. Just thinking about again the turn order here might throw us off, because if we take France with. Yeah, I suppose it doesn't immediately give it away if we take France, because that just seems like just grabbing free income. So that might not necessarily ring alarm bells for the Axis. Taking this possibly, it's going to be. I think actually that probably would give it away if we're trying to clear out these two. I think if the board looks good, if we're able to take France, I think I might ask macmac not to do this, because that would indicate to the Axis that we're going to go for it, in which case he could probably block this to deny us Karelia. He could even fly something maybe into Italy, or the main thing here is he could still block Shanghai. He could drop the fleet here. He could drop off enough infantry he could drop off enough infantry here, and even pull back with these guys to ensure we couldn't take it. So we'd have to use all our planes and everything to kill the fleet at 61. Then we wouldn't have enough left to destroy or capture Shanghai or Japan. So we are a bit vulnerable here. We're obviously not putting everything into this VC snipe. It's something we're setting up for, but again, we're still playing out the game as normal. It's just we're giving ourselves some options. So fingers crossed we can take the game this round, depending on how they defend. But I think what's more likely, because I know they've been fairly sharp, is we're going to be playing on for a while longer. But if we... Sorry, my phone is just causing problems. Alright, silent mode. Yeah, so the likelihood is we're not going to be winning the game this round. It'd be nice, but that's probably not likely. So in that case, we'll be just pulling back to Moscow, and we're just defending. So again, it's just a race between Germany and the US. Hopefully the US can gain control of the Pacific before Moscow falls, but we shall see. Anyway, I thought long-winded explanation. Let's go for my go. I mean, for me here, the game is very, very simple. I've not got many jobs to do. It's mainly on macmac and Tem7 now to close this game out. I'm just more of a placeholder, just a defender of Moscow. That's my only role. What I was saying to them before, actually, one nice thing for me is I've got a sub alive, so even if Moscow does fall, I'm not out of the game, so I can control myself in the Pacific. which actually works well for me because it means I can the game will pause while I move this sub, and I can then record the moves from everyone else. So it won't just skip past my go, and I won't miss anything. So for recording purposes, it's nice to have this alive. Anyway, so 6 infantry. I'm going to go for max numbers now. We're in full defensive mode for Russia. We need as many in Moscow as we can. So 6 infantry. There is potential for bombing as well, so I'll be saving any IPC I have spare just for more infantry. It's not really worth, I don't think, getting artillery at this stage because I'm not going to be able to kill this this army if he keeps it, organised. We are going to try just one for Archangel because potentially it leaves the Karelia move a little more realistic. I'm going to also leave Vologda open because I'm hoping, again, depending on how this plays out, it may be more tempting for the Japanese just to walk in here with these one guy and then take this maybe. So it makes it a little bit more likely, but yeah. More for me, it's just doing something with my planes. I like having them idle. They will be idle, I think, for probably the foreseeable future. Because any more trades here won't be probably worth it for Russia, but I'll take this one just to try and help us out a bit. Okay. Keat's not online. I think we're all quite anxious to see what Keat does with these two. But, yeah, we'll see. Anyway. Let's go for it. So I'm not too worried about taking this, actually taking the territory, I'm not too bothered, but it's nice to at least kill the infantry here, which is, oh my god, this is scary. Thank you. Jesus Christ. That would have sucked, actually. That would have been a bad trade. Okay, all back to Moscow. In we go. And we are down to 17 national production. Lovely. Okay, welcome to round 7. Community game number 13. Okay, jump back to round 6. TheRealKeet. As we expected, he saw the the VC snipe attempt, so no go on that, which was, yeah, we expected as much, but yeah, a bit of a shame we couldn't close this out early, but fair enough. 5 infantry, 4 tanks, still going obviously maximum pressure for Moscow. Took Caucasus. Nothing much to speak of really, just moving things forward. He's going to have a big, I think he's probably going to aim for, as you'd expect, the round 8 timing for Moscow. He'll have these 4 tanks in range. He'll move the planes back finally. And have these 13 infantry as well, sitting in. Either, I'm not sure he's going to go for Caucasus. I'd imagine he'd go for Caucasus probably. So probably everything will be in here for this this round, the end of Germany's round 7. So yeah, a big assault coming on to Moscow in round 8, but I think we have odds. I think macmac and TheRealKeet did some calculations by this. I've not checked it, but I think they said it was okay for round 8, or at least, we've got a decent chance to win, I believe. But I'll check that. I'll double check that again in round 8. I will be attacking this round though, which I'm not sure is wise or not, but we're still trying to. I hate having idle planes. It's probably not a good move to move out at all here, because obviously one attacking. I'm going to go for Vologda, which is probably not the best move, I suppose, but I'll think about it while I'm going through this round, I think. Anyway, macmac round 6, 2 infantry, 3 fighters. Combat took Caucasus. Okay, destroyed one, cleared it out for the US. Xinjiang, destroyed 1 infantry, lost no units. Cool, nice. Non-com, nothing much to speak of. Just obviously we're all hands to Moscow now, so everything was moved up to Moscow. Got more lads coming through here as well. We may hit a few things around here. I think actually the plan is going to be because TheRealKeet's landed in the US this round, or round 6 it was. And so this round 7 for the UK, we can start pushing in. So we're going to start to very quickly sort of sweep through Asia, which would be nice. So the IPC difference should swing quite quickly in our favour. What I'm hoping is we can just weather the storm in Moscow. Obviously there's going to be continued pressure coming from Germany, but if we can somehow win the fight, if he goes for the round 8 timing and we win, that could be fantastic, because we'll be in such a strong position in the Pacific, it could be nice. But yeah, we shall see. We shall see. Right, so yeah, just more moving the fighters towards Moscow for macmac. Still deploying in India too. So CND Japan round 6 purchases 5 infantry, 1 destroyer, 1 artillery. Still maintaining the land buys, but I think given what's happened this round, or sorry, round 6 with the US, the Japanese fleet's going to be forced away from Japan, so they can deploy, but they'll have to deploy into Soviet Far East if they want to actually get troops on land, because we've got I'm assuming it's odds on the fleet, whatever he does here. So yeah, he's going to have to be retreating to 63 this round, which is good. And obviously we'll be sweeping through, so his reinforcements will be very tricky. And if we chase as well, I'm not sure. I believe the idea is just we're going to set up a shock in the Mali Islands to reinforce both Moscow, if we can hold it, obviously, and Asia, so we can just get a good flow of troops now through with the US. But yeah, just a few bits and bobs for Japan. Took Sichuan, took Vologda, we've done a bit, took Xinjiang, destroyed... Oh, okay, that's good actually. Destroyed 1 infantry but lost 2, that's fantastic. And lost 1 infantry in Novo as well, so pretty good trading for the rest there. We lost all the battles, but we killed 3 infantry, which is good. And Japan does not have any spare land units really. They're running on empty pretty much. So good. And round 6 US, 10-7, 5 infantry, 2 destroyers, 2 fighters. Obviously we're just setting up the ship now. We've got nice complexes in all the Mali Islands, which is good. So yeah, I think his plan is just going to be to shock from East Indies towards Russia, and then maybe these 2 towards Asia, or some kind of combination. I'm not exactly sure, but yeah, we'll be shocking to the mainland in sort of two fronts really, and just pushing hard against all the Japanese Asian territories. But yeah, just fingers crossed we can hold Moscow really. That's going to be the main objective really. The fleet's we're massively overpowering the Japanese fleet at this point, so this is not a real danger to us. I think we'd like to obviously wipe it out if we could, because it would just clear out all the danger really in the Pacific completely, and then we can just encircle Japan very quickly and start grabbing everything with no worries about reinforcements. Again, in a KJF, it's unlikely, I think, generally speaking, to actually take Japan. You're more just aiming to get them trapped in Japan, and then you can just freely take away their islands or their territories. So, round 7, Russia. We're going to obviously maximum infantry, maximum numbers. We'll bank the 1 for next round, so we're not going to have a huge amount of income. Going for 6. Now here's the question: do I attack Vologda or not? I don't really think it's worth it, to be honest. I want to. I'm just thinking, if we're playing this completely safe, I shouldn't hit this, because I can attack with 1 infantry absolutely maximum. There's no point moving 2, or even 1, to be fair. That's what I'm saying. It's risky. I'll be attacking with 2 fighters. Now, 2 fighters, there's no guarantee of hits there. I've had such terrible luck with fighter attacking recently, so if I miss that, we lose an infantry, that's just a complete waste. Whereas the UK, if they want to hit this, they can, with far more firepower. So they're far more likely to actually get some hits, so I think actually I might just leave this, just to save my infantry. And if the UK wants to hit, because they've got the ability to hit this if you want to. They can use 1 here, and then they can push in with these troops here to Xinjiang or whatever they want. They've got plenty of fighters to do some stuff, so I think I'm going to leave this, to be honest. Skip it. No! Idiot! The poor sub! Slow down! Slow down! Oh, goddamn. Goddamn. Okay, they're ready to move. My poor sub, neglected in 28. Damn it. Damn. Alright everyone, welcome back to round 8, community game number 13. So, last round, round 7, and this round are very, very important rounds in this game. Very important. So round 7, we'll have a quick look back at what happened, but obviously you probably see from the board here, there's been some major developments on the Pacific side. So we'll just quickly look at Germany first though. So combat, he tried to take courses, failed, which was nice for us, or income. And the main point here is the fact that he's setting up for Moscow round 8. He's moved all his fighters on, into range of Moscow. He's built 3 bombers for the attack, so it's it seems very likely he's going to go for Moscow this round, round 8. Now, we've done some calculations. We've got currently about an 80% chance to hold this, so it's looking fairly comfortable, to be fair. And I think the next round, round 9, if he delays it for one more round, I think actually the odds increase for us, because we've got a few things we can throw in here. We've got some planes from both nations, US and UK, to bring into Russia, plus my deployment, which should be probably about 5 or so, 4 or 5 infantry. So I think in terms of the odds, the best chance Germany's got to break Moscow is this round, round 8. Delaying it, I don't think gains them anything. And also, macmac's built a fleet in round 7, so he'll be harassing all the territories on the western side of Germany, or Europe rather. So just to be a bit of an annoyance. So I think that the longer he waits, the worse it gets. So I think he has to try and take this probably, which is obviously great for us, because 80% odds is not too bad at all. I'm very happy with that. I think I'm always reassured with defensive battles is that if you've got a lot of fighters, which we do, we've got 21 fighters, they're going to do a huge amount of damage behind the infantry, huge. So that's going to be really nice for us. Even if Germany was to win this, I think it's going to cost them a lot to take it, because obviously with 80% odds to lose, you're going to have to get a miracle battle to actually, come out with a decent number of forces after the fact. So yeah, it's going to have to go very well for Germany to, I think, for the Axis to have a good chance in this game. Because of what's happening in the Pacific, I think Pacific now is pretty much over. The war for the Pacific is pretty much over. We'll get to that in a second. Yeah, round 8's looking like the round for this game. I think if the game will probably just be decided here, I think. If Germany fails to take it, I would imagine that would be a GG from the Axis, I would think. If they win, obviously they'll play on, but yeah, we shall see. I've asked TheRealKeet if I can record the battle if he does go for it, so we've got that covered, which would be nice. So it's always good to see a bigger slog for Moscow, so that should be fun to watch. Anyway, on to round 7, macmac, UK. He's built a fleet, obviously, as I said, transport destroyer carrier. We're obviously betting on the fact that he's got a big aircraft. He's got a big air force, sorry, which can probably wipe all this out, but Germany at this point is committed on Moscow, so we should be free to take something here. Too sure that we could take probably Finland and Norway, or he might actually. He's gonna have to pull out probably. Not necessarily. He could probably still defend France and Germany. I think probably what's going to happen is Matt's going to go for Norway and Finland or something, or even go for Northwest and Norway. Just do a bit of harassment on the western coastline of Europe. So we know Germany's going to be distracted. So bits and bobs there, just helping out also in Asia. So Yunnan walked in, Xinjiang destroyed artillery infantry, which is good for us. Actually, that was the biggest stack. Sorry, this one. I think it was their biggest stack for Japan left on the mainland. Novo destroyed the artillery. Vologda destroyed infantry analysis. So nice clean up there from the UK. Just finishing a few bits of a few stragglers from the Japanese, finishing them off. So now, as it stands now, obviously with the US doing some work as well, Japan's got no units left on the mainland, which is awesome. So we're going to be able to grab all of this in the next 2 rounds probably, which is good. So on to Japan. This is again a crucial battle in the game. Japan went for 2 infantry, 2 fighters. I went for the fleet in 61, which was great for us. I think in the Discord, Tema7 mentioned her profile didn't save. So actually, and also Japan got some good rolls. So actually, this battle probably went worse for us than we expected. But we still won the fight. Japan's only got 2 fighters left after the fact, which was obviously deployed this round. So Japan now is out of the game. That's it. Japan's been defeated pretty much. In a KJF, generally speaking, you're not aiming to actually conquer Tokyo because you don't need to. It's more a case of just finishing off the forces, the fleet nearby, and then allowing yourself to just be able to move freely around the sea zones, which we can do. Because 2 fighters is not going to threaten all the destroyers and battleships and things we've got around here. So yeah, we're now completely safe. Or the US is completely safe to move around and finish off the last of Japan's empire, which is good. So yeah, Japan's out of the game, which is why I think obviously if Germany fails to take Moscow, I think that's going to be an immediate GG from the Axis, because they won't have anything left. There's no follow-up after the fact should they fail Moscow. It's all or nothing here, I think. So I would imagine the game could be over this round potentially if we're going by the odds alone. So yeah, that's pretty much it. He went for Alaska. a last-ditch attempt with the transports to gain some ground. So yeah, we've 10-7 mopped that up with the destroyer, and yeah, we'll be finishing off this guy hopefully soon, and the rest of the territories. 10-7, round 7. 4 infantry carrier, 2 fighters, 1 destroyer. Just strengthening our position in the Pacific. We're obviously getting a regular shock now onto the mainland with a few bits and bobs. Actually, personally speaking, I think the carrier and the destroyer I don't think was necessary. Or maybe the carrier. I think the carrier is probably a good buy. The destroyer not so much, I think, personally. I think probably we have enough here. We've got 4 destroyers already, 5 up here as well, and a battleship, which I think is obviously enough for a while against Japan. I think I probably would have preferred to see the fighters are good because we're thinking about more long-term shipping in or flying in fighters to Moscow to keep it safe. Should the TheRealKeet delay the attack on Berlin, but yeah, I think it would just be a case of just getting the shipping lanes, all the logistics here sorted so we can get a regular flow of troops through. But yeah, so a few bits of bobs of combat for the US. So I finished the transports off, Kiangsu, which is this one, and Anhui. So yeah, no more Japanese troops on the mainland. Nice. Anyway, enough talk. Round 8. Very simple job for me here. 5 infantry. No attacking for me at all. I'm going to go for maximum numbers in Moscow, so very simple job. There we go. Tough round. No! I've just realised I've forgotten. I've literally forgotten to move myself 2 rounds in a row now. It's just terrible. But at this point, it doesn't really matter. I don't know why. I'm not used to having a Russian sub alive, so that's fine. So here we go. This is the big one. Round 8, Germany. Let's see what he does. Okay, so I just heard back from the TheRealKeet, and he is going to go for the attack on Moscow. So yeah, here we go. Oh no, I'm going to definitely unfollow that because it's going to smash the screen around like crazy if I actually follow it properly. Okay, Jesus Christ. Now I can follow. 79. Oof. Huge attack. I am fairly sure if this goes badly for them, that it's going to be a resign from the Axis, but we shall see. Okay, how we do? Air defense. Oh, was that 1 hit? Yeah, 1 hit, nice. 1 fighter down. 25 hits for the attackers, first round. 16, 19, 31. Lovely. Big hits from the fighters, obviously. Okay, 26 back. Oof, that's fairly good actually. Need some big rolls here then. Need some really big rolls there. 8, 25, not bad. Starting to chip away at the tanks now. 13 tanks left. Well, this is going to be so... I'm not sure how this is going to go. 20? I think we got it. We just got it. That was tight though. Jesus. It gets scary when they start chipping away at the planes at the back, but... And there we go. It's done. Wow. What's the losses then? Oof. Huge. So, we took it. 16 planes remaining, and the 2... Actually, what's lovely there is the 2 Russian planes survived, so that's pretty cool. But yeah, I think it was a tough situation, because obviously Keat was really boxed in there. He couldn't really delay that any longer, as I mentioned before. I think the longer he delayed, for one, the worse the odds got, but 2, the worse the situation in Japan got, because obviously they're only going to get more the Allies are only going to get more territory as we sweep through Asia. So he kind of had to go for that. It wasn't a great battle odds wise, but he didn't have much of a choice, to be fair. So yeah, I think yeah, we kind of forced his hand there slightly with the situation in the Pacific. But so there we go, victory. Following a pretty rough attack on Moscow. So again, we'll play to CND and the TheRealKeet. They played a good game. I think for Keat's position in round 8, I think that was his only choice. He could have tried to delay it, but I think, as I mentioned, it's just there was no way for him to get into Moscow with, well, at least attack Moscow with better odds than he had. The longer he waited, the worse it got, and also the far worse the situation got in the Pacific, so he had to take the fight there, unfortunately for him, I think, because obviously the odds weren't great, but the situation on the board had really forced his hand. So yeah, it was a nice hold from the fighters, 14 UK fighters at least. There may have been more, I can't remember, but it's a nice hold. Again, attacking such a big stack of fights is always so difficult. It's just they hit so often, they just absolutely wreck the infantry. So it's very hard to break through unless you've got overwhelming odds. But no, GG. I will just say, as a point, I know there's been some discussion in the Discord about the sort of the communication side for the Allied team in these kind of 5-player games, and I did do a poll about this to suggest, or just to ask people if they wanted to play 4-player games from now on to even it out. You know, so it was a bit easier for the Allied team to navigate a game, but people voted in the favour of keeping it as a 5-player game, which personally I think is better. I think but if it was a ranked situation or a tournament, then I think it'd be different, because you'd want to give completely fair odds to both teams. But as these are community games, they're only meant for some fun, just to get people together and, you know, have a fun game. I think the 5-player format is better. Yeah, just it's more players can get involved. It's probably the way the board game was meant to be played, really, initially, with 5 people getting together. So yeah, I'm glad it's still 5 players, to be honest. And this game in particular, I really enjoyed. I thought the Allied team, all 3 of us, myself, macmac, and Tem7, we were all very much vocal, very vocal in the Discord, discussing, you know, round by round, play by play for each nation. We were, you know, bouncing ideas around and, you know, just correcting each other's mistakes, or, you know, spotting mistakes each other made, and just, you know, making suggestions. It was a lot of fun. This is the most fun I have in this game, beyond even tournaments or, you know, ranked victories or that kind of crap, is playing, you know, good community games where everyone's really invested and chatting, and that's the most fun I have in these games. So yeah, this was a really good one, and I think this is the first time the Allies have won in a KJF. I think we have 4 victories now on the board for the Allies. I'm pretty sure this is the first KJF victory. I've not checked that, but I believe that's the case. So if that is the case, that's also nice. we get the first KJF win for the Allies. But shout out to macmac for suggesting at least the initial opening, because the initial opening was something very unusual and aggressive for Russia, going for the 12-8. Sorry, it was 11-8. 11 into West Russia, 8 into Ukraine, and sparing tanks to move them eastward and pressure Japan's land presence early. It made for a really interesting opening, and the game as a whole. I thought the game was a lot of fun. But yeah, shout out to Matt for suggesting that. I think it was initially from a video the TTG guy posted, where he played against this strategy. I forget who the player was. We played the Allied player, but yeah, it's a lot of fun. It's, again, very risky going for 11-8, because if it goes badly, it's almost game over potentially straight away. So we definitely took a risk with this opening, but as you can see, it did pay off in the end. I think one surprise for us, I think, was that Keet didn't go for Egypt with the bomber that was left in Ukraine, because that would have collapsed at least part of the strategy for us, because obviously we were planning to go against season 37 on UK1, and obviously losing the fighter in Egypt means you can't do that, so you have a weaker opening against Japan, which wouldn't have been great. But luckily for us, he decided against Egypt, which was fantastic. So we went for 37 and got a good battle here, and that just started the ball rolling, really, and just full on pressure from there on out against Japan's land units. And Tem7 played a good US. Straight in pressure, all in down south. I think down south is definitely the way to go, not north, because down south you can start pressuring the Money Islands very quickly. And then we were over Japan, pressuring Japan very, very early here. But yeah. Anyway, yeah, as I said, GG to CND, TheRealKeet, macmac, Tem7. Everyone played a good game this game. It was a lot of fun. And yeah, it was great. So I'll see you for community game number 14.